My name is Pat Traffas. I'm a past president of the Oregon-California Trails Association, and so we'd like to welcome you today to Independence, Missouri. Independence, of course, is where the Oregon Trail began, so we have a wonderful historic story to tell you today. We know that folks that wanted to go west would come sometimes as far west as the Kansas City and Independence area by steamboat, like from St. Louis or other points east. They would get off the boat at Wayne City Landing, climb the high hill, come right up here to the square, where around them there would be all kinds of hustle and bustle activity. There were wagon makers, there would be blacksmiths, there were livery shops, there were men selling horses, oxen, and mules, everything that you might need for your trip out west. So this was a real hub of activity. There are a few original buildings still around in this historic downtown area, but here we are at the very beginning of the trail. And this is a new feature to our Independence Square, which was added in 2016. This is a wonderful story about this wonderful medallion. If you look at it closely, you'll see it says Old Oregon Trail. The wonderful sculptor who did this was Avard Fairbanks. He was an art instructor at the University of Oregon, and he had met a gentleman that had gone on an 1852 wagon train with his family to Washington State, and that man was Ezra Meeker. When Mr. Fairbanks, the sculptor, found out that Ezra Meeker was going to make a return trip and want to generate interest and knowledge about the Oregon Trail since he had traveled it, he inspired Mr. Fairbanks to create a very special, we'll just call it, I call it art, that would feature kind of a pioneer story. And Mr. Fairbanks thought, well, now what needs to be in this wonderful medallion to tell the story? And of course, we have to have a pioneer family. So here's Dad at the front. Here's his wife, the pioneer mother, holding a baby riding in the wagon. And we're told that Mr. Fairbanks modeled the woman in the wagon, the young mother, after his own grandmother. So I think this was a very personal project for him. The Fairbanks family has started up the foundry again and created a few more medallions. But you'll see these medallions from here at the start of the trail all the way to Seaside, Oregon. There are two, I think, in Oregon, one in Washington. And I was kind of interested about a month ago. We were out in Wyoming and we were at Independence Rock. Here we are in Independence, Missouri. One of the Fairbanks medallions is beautifully displayed at Independence Rock. The generosity of the Fairbanks family presented this medallion to the Oregon-California Trails Association in 2016. And so there was a national meeting here. Also, it was the 100th year celebrating the National Park Service. And so as a special event, this medallion was adhered to this gorgeous monument, and there were formal dedication ceremonies. If you were here that day, you could have ridden in a wagon pulled by mules. You would have seen persons in costume and heard a wonderful story. Also, the son of the sculptor, and his name was David Fairbanks, was here that day to present the medallion. And also receiving the medallion were Aaron Mahrs, our superintendent from the National Park Service, and our county executive, Frank White, one of our favorite Royals players from the past. And we had children here that day. They were singing trail songs. We had fiddle players. So it brings back some of the trail life that we all just love to experience when we're out on the trail. This medallion is very special. There are very few across the United States, but as you travel the trail, be sure and look for them. Mr. Fairbanks was such a talented sculptor, and we're amazed when we travel that we come across many of his pieces of work. I was kind of surprised to learn how many of the founding fathers he's done. He has figures in Statuary Hall in our United States Capitol building. a lot of statues on top of LDS temples. Such a gifted man, and I think he had a way of telling his story through his wonderful gift of art. We're so grateful to share this with you and to tell the story of Mr. Fairbanks and the generosity of their family. To discover your own trail, come and see these wonderful sights, and there's nothing like standing in the footsteps of those who have gone before us. And right here, that's where it all begins.